What if I told you the hours between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. are the most profitable hours of the day? Most people use that time to decompress on the couch, watching someone else live their life on a screen. But a growing group of people are quietly building wealth while the rest of the world powers down. And they're not doing it with complicated tech startups, dropshipping, or risky investments. They are running boring, overlooked businesses that nobody else wants to do. I've analyzed hundreds of real-world financial breakdowns to bring you 20 businesses you can launch tonight without quitting your day job. Some of these are so simple you can start them this weekend. And the final business on this list has margins so ridiculous you'll wonder why everyone isn't doing it. My name is John. Let's get to work. Business 20, process serving. You know those scenes in movies where someone walks up and says, "You've been served?" That's a real job. And it pays surprisingly well after hours. Process servers deliver legal documents like court summonses, subpoenas, and legal notices. The reason this works as an after-work business is simple. Most people who need to be served are at home in the evening. That's exactly when you're free. Real operators on communities like our Sweaty Startup report starting by signing up with contractor platforms like ABC Legal and ServeNow. Agency jobs pay $25 to $75 per serve, and you can knock out 3 to 5 serves in an evening. That's $75 to $375 per night just driving around your city. But here's where it gets interesting. Once you build relationships with local law firms and paralegals, you cut out the middleman. Direct clients pay $75 to $150 per serve, and difficult or rush serves can go as high as $200 to $500. One particularly lucrative niche within this business is skip tracing, which means finding people who are actively avoiding being served. That commands a premium because attorneys will pay whatever it takes when a case is on the line. Startup cost? About $50 to $300 for court registration depending on your state. You need a car, a phone, and the ability to knock on a door. One operator on Reddit described building this to $3,000 a month working strictly after his day job. The certification requirements vary by state, but in many places, you just need to register with your county court and you're good to go. And because law firms constantly generate legal actions, the supply of work is virtually unlimited. You're not waiting for seasonal demand. Courts operate year-round. Business 19, dryer vent cleaning. Here's a stat that sells this business for you. The National Fire Protection Association reports that clogged dryer vents cause an estimated 5,500 house fires every year in the United States. That's not a sales pitch you have to invent. That's a real danger that homeowners don't think about until someone knocks on their door and reminds them. The entire equipment setup costs $500 to $800. A rotary brush kit, a vacuum, and you're in business. Each job takes 30 to 45 minutes, and you charge $100 to $175 per cleaning. Operators on our Sweaty Startup report doing 3 to 5 jobs in an evening after work, reaching $2,000 to $3,000 a month within their first 3 months. The global dryer vent cleaning market is valued at roughly $197 billion, according to industry reports, and it's projected to reach $3.5 billion by 2035. But here's what makes this perfect for after-work hours. Most homeowners want this done when they're home. That means evenings. That means weekends. That means your schedule lines up perfectly. And once you clean someone's dryer vent, they need it done again in 12 to 18 months. That's built-in recurring revenue without a single contract. Business 18, furniture flipping. This one doesn't require any certification, any license, or any special equipment beyond basic hand tools and a can of stain. The model is simple. You find solid wood furniture on Facebook Marketplace, estate sales, or thrift stores for $10 to $50. You clean it up, sand it down, restain or repaint it, and resell it for $200 to $800. Real operators on our flipping describe buying a mid-century dresser for $25, spending $30 on supplies and 4 hours of evening work, then selling it for $475. That's a $420 profit on a single piece. Part-timers working evenings and weekends report making $500 to $1,500 a month. The key is being selective. Avoid particle board. Avoid anything that needs structural repair. Look for solid wood pieces that just need cosmetic work. A fresh coat of stain and new hardware can turn a $30 Goodwill find into a $400 Facebook Marketplace sale. The Flipify app blog reports that dedicated furniture flippers who treat this like a business can earn $2,000 to $5,000 a month. Business 17, pet sitting and dog walking. The U.S. pet care services market was valued at approximately $11.4 billion in 2024, according to Grandview Research, and it's growing fast. Here's why this works after hours. Dog owners who work 9 to 5 need someone to walk their dogs in the evening. Pet owners who travel need someone to stay with their animals overnight or check in on them after work. Real operators on RR Pet Sitting describe starting on platforms like Rover, which takes a 20% commission, then transitioning to independent clients found through word of mouth and local Facebook groups. Independent dog walkers charge $20 to $30 per 30-minute walk, and pet sitters charge $50 to $100 per overnight stay. One operator reported earning $1,500 to $3,000 a month working evenings and weekends. Smart operators invest in pet sitting liability insurance through companies like Pet Sitter Associates, and use management software like Time to Pet to automate scheduling, invoicing, and sending GPS-tracked walk updates to owners. That level of professionalism separates you from the teenager down the street who watches dogs for $20. And here's the pattern you'll start to see repeating on this list. Once you build trust with a pet owner, they become a recurring client for years. That's not a one-time transaction. That's a relationship that pays you every single week. And those clients refer their friends, their neighbors, their coworkers. The compounding effect of trust in a service business is the closest thing to free marketing that exists. Business 16, small engine repair. Let's do the simple math on this one. A broken lawnmower sits in someone's garage because the nearest repair shop has a 3-week backlog and charges $150 just for the diagnostic. You pick up that same lawnmower from Facebook Marketplace for $20 to $50. The most common fix is a carburetor cleaning, a new spark plug, or pull cord replacement. Total parts cost $5 to $15. Total repair time, 30 minutes to an hour. You sell it for $150 to $300. That's a $100 to $250 profit per machine. Real operators report making $1,700 a month working from their garage after their day job. Others charge $75 to $150 per repair and handle 3 to 5 jobs a week, generating $1,200 to $2,000 a month. The most common complaint customers have about existing repair shops is the same one that creates your opportunity. Nobody answers the phone and nobody communicates. Just being responsive sets you apart from 80% of the competition. Scaling this is straightforward too. You do repairs, you flip machines, you buy cheap, and you build a reputation on Facebook Marketplace. Most of these repairs can be learned from YouTube in a weekend. Business 15, Airbnb turnover cleaning. Every single time a guest checks out of a short-term rental, somebody has to clean that property before the next guest arrives. And there are now over 15 million active short-term rental listings worldwide. The vacation rental cleaning market was valued at $7.2 billion in 2025, according to Data Intello, and it's projected to reach $14.8 billion by 2034. Here's why this is perfect after-work money. Checkout times are usually between 10 a.m. and noon. Check-in times are usually 3 p.m. or later. That means the cleaning window often falls in the afternoon and early evening, exactly when your day job ends. Real operators on our Sweaty Startup describe reaching out to local Airbnb hosts directly and offering same-day turnover service. Within 3 months, one operator had 8 recurring properties, paying $75 to $150 per clean, earning $2,400 to $4,800 a month. And here's the part nobody tells you about this business. Once a host finds a cleaner who actually shows up and does a thorough job, they almost never switch. You become essential to their entire operation. The churn rate in this business is almost zero if you're reliable. That's what makes it sticky revenue. Business 14, mobile car detailing. A guy named Josh Belk and his brother started a mobile detailing business around their class schedules and day jobs. They started lean with basic supplies, a shop vac, a pressure washer, interior cleaners, and a foam cannon. Total investment under $500. They posted before and after photos on local Facebook groups and within months had scaled to $6,000 a month, according to their feature on the Side Hustle Show podcast. The U.S. auto detailing market is valued at approximately $16 billion in 2025, according to Grandview Research. Part-time solo detailers on our Sweaty Startup report making $2,000 to $3,000 in profit a month, working 10 to 15 hours a week, mostly evenings and weekends. The pricing is where this gets attractive. Basic details run $75 to $150. Full interior and exterior ceramic coating jobs can go as high as $500 to $1,500. And because you go to the client, you're detailing their car while they eat dinner, put their kids to bed, or watch TV, you're not competing with a shop. You're competing with their laziness, and laziness always wins. Now let's pause here for a second. Do you notice the pattern across these first 7 businesses? Every single one of them exploits the same thing. A gap between when most businesses close and when most customers are actually available. That 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. window is dead space in the economy, and the people filling it are making real money. Michael Gerber wrote in the E-Myth Revisited that most people fail in business not because their idea is bad, but because they try to do everything the hard way instead of building a system. Every business we've covered so far is a system. A simple, repeatable process that generates income without requiring a revolutionary idea. You don't need to invent anything. You need to show up, do the work, and answer your phone when the competition won't. And here's something almost nobody tells you. Most of these businesses don't compete with each other. They complement each other. The person who cleans Airbnbs can refer clients to the person who details cars. The pet sitter knows every homeowner on the block. The small engine repair guy meets every landscaper in town. These businesses aren't just income streams, they're networks. And networks compound faster than money. Let's keep going. Business 13, garage door repair. Here's something most people never think about. A garage door is the largest moving part in most homes, and when it breaks, the homeowner cannot leave. Their car is trapped. That means they're calling for help immediately, and they're not price shopping. They need it fixed now. Garage door spring replacements are the bread and butter of this business. The job takes about 45 minutes. Parts cost $30 to $60. You charge $200 to $400. That's a 70 to 80% profit margin on a single repair. Real operators on our sweaty startup report earning $2,000 to $4,000 a month working evenings and weekends. Full door installations go for $800 to $3,000 per job. The U.S. garage door market is valued at approximately $6.4 billion in 2025, according to Grandview Research. One operator on Reddit noted that customers are uncomfortable doing this repair themselves because of the high tension springs, which means consistent demand, regardless of how many YouTube tutorials exist. You can learn the skill in 6 months by working part-time for an existing company, then branch off on your own with nothing more than winding bars, an impact driver, a ladder, and a stock of common springs in your truck. Business 12, pool route maintenance. Think of a pool route like owning a miniature subscription business that runs on chemistry and a net. Routes are typically valued at 10 to 12 times the monthly service revenue. So a route generating $3,000 a month might cost you $30,000 to $36,000 to buy. That sounds expensive until you realize you're buying guaranteed recurring income from day one. One operator on our sweaty startup purchased a 30-account route in the Pinellas and Brandon area of Florida, serviced it after work and on mornings before his day job, and within 6 months had added 10 more accounts organically. He was spending about 6 hours a week on service calls and earning $4,500 a month. But here's where the profit really hides. Weekly maintenance has thin margins, maybe $3 to $7 profit per stop. The real money comes from equipment repairs, pump replacements, heater installs, and filter cleanings. Those upsells can add $2,000 to $4,000 a month in high margin revenue from the same customers you're already visiting. Think about it like this. The pool maintenance is your foot in the door. You're there every week, checking the water, skimming the surface. And then one day the homeowner says, "Hey, my pump is making a weird noise." That's a $400 to $800 repair. And you're the only person they trust to do it because you're already in their backyard. The pool service industry in the U.S. represents over $7 billion, according to IBISWorld. If you don't want to buy a route, you can build one from scratch by distributing door hangers in neighborhoods with pools. One operator started with 5 accounts and grew to 40 within a year, generating $6,000 a month in recurring revenue. Route density matters here too. You want all your pools within a 5-mile radius to minimize drive time and fuel costs. Business 11, event photography. A full-time traffic engineer started shooting weddings on weekends to make extra money. He didn't quit his job. He didn't go to photography school. He started by second shooting for established photographers, earning $200 to $500 per event while building his portfolio. Within a year, he was booking his own weddings at $1,500 to $3,000 per event, according to his feature on the Side Hustle School podcast. The U.S. photography services market is valued at approximately $12.9 billion, according to IBISWorld. Part-timers shooting 10 to 15 weddings per year generate an extra $30,000 or more in gross revenue annually. And corporate events offer a less seasonal alternative at $500 to $1,500 per event. Here's the hidden cost that most people underestimate, though. Editing time. A single wedding can take 20 to 40 hours of post-processing. That's the trade-off. But if you enjoy the work, the hourly rate still crushes most side hustles. And the best part? Every wedding generates referrals. One bride tells 2 friends, and suddenly your weekends are booked 6 months out. Business 10, lawn care and landscaping. The U.S. landscaping services market reached approximately $176 billion in 2026, according to IBISWorld. Read that number again, $176 billion. And the barrier to entry is a push mower, a string trimmer, a blower, and a trailer. Total startup cost $500 to $1,500. Real operators on our sweaty startup describe mowing 10 lawns per week after work, and on Saturdays, charging $35 to $70,000 per mow depending on lot size, and earning $500 to $2,500 a month. The real money isn't in the mowing, though. It's in the upsells. Leaf cleanup goes for $200 to $500 per job. Mulching runs $300 to $800. Aeration and overseeding brings $150 to $300 per lawn. One operator described scaling to 25 weekly accounts within 8 months by distributing door hangers and running Facebook ads. He was earning $4,000 to $6,000 a month and had hired a helper. The secret to making this work after hours is route density. You want 5 to 10 houses on the same street. That eliminates drive time and turns your evenings into pure production. We're halfway through the list now. You might have noticed something. None of these businesses are complicated. None of them require a degree. What they require is showing up after everyone else has gone home. Let me be honest with you for a moment. The thing that separates people who build wealth from people who just talk about it isn't intelligence. It's timing, not market timing, schedule timing. The person who uses their evenings to build something always outpaces the person who uses them to scroll. Morgan Housel wrote in same as ever that the most reliable wealth building strategies look the same across every generation. They're boring, they're consistent, and they work precisely because most people aren't patient enough to stick with them. That's the thread connecting every business on this list. None of them are new, none of them are trendy, and none of them will go viral on social media. But they work. They've always worked. And they'll still be working 10 years from now when the latest AI tool or dropshipping course has been forgotten. Let's continue. Business 9, home organization and decluttering consulting. This one sounds made up until you see the numbers. The National Association of Productivity and Organizing Professionals reports that the average professional organizer charges $55 to $100 per hour, with experienced organizers in major markets charging up to $150 per hour. Real operators on Art's side hustle describe starting by posting services on Nextdoor and local Facebook groups. Typical sessions run 3 to 5 hours. After 6 months, one operator had a roster of repeat clients and was earning $1,000 to $2,000 a month working after their day job and on weekends. Here's the demographic tailwind behind this business. The aging population is creating massive demand for downsizing help. Adult children don't have time to sort through their parents' 40 years of belongings. They'll pay someone $75 an hour to do it for them. And once you help one family on a street, word spreads fast. The referral engine in this niche is unlike anything I've seen. Business 8, mobile personal training. You don't need a gym, you don't need a lease, you need $500 worth of portable equipment and the ability to show up at someone's house. Resistance bands, kettlebells, a foldable bench, maybe a TRX system. That's your entire gym. Independent mobile trainers charge $60 to $150 per session, depending on the market and clientele. One trainer on our personal training described training 2 to 3 clients per evening after their day job and earning $2,000 to $3,500 a month. The U.S. personal training market is valued at approximately $14 billion, according to IBIS World. Here's the key insight. When you work at a gym, you earn $15 to $25 an hour. When you go independent and mobile, you take home $60 to $100 per hour because there's no gym taking 50 to 70% of your rate. And your clients stay. One trainer noted that his best clients had been with him for over 2 years. That's recurring revenue built on trust and results, not contracts and cancellation fees. Business 7, car wrapping and vinyl installation. The global automotive wrap films market is valued at approximately $4.1 billion to $10.6 billion in 2025, growing at 17 to 22% annually, according to Grandview Research. Here's why this is an after-work goldmine. A full wrap takes a weekend to complete. You charge $2,500 to $5,000 per wrap. Materials cost $500 to $200 per car. Tools run about $300 to $500 total. One operator on Arch car wraps described doing 2 to 3 wraps per month on weekends and generating $5,000 to $15,000 a month in side income. There's a learning curve. You need about 6 months of practice before you can charge premium rates, but the marketing is built into the product. Every car you wrap is a rolling billboard for your business. You post before and after photos on Instagram and TikTok, and the algorithm does your advertising for free. The social media virality of car wraps is something almost no other service business can match. Business 6, meal prep and delivery. According to a feature on the Side Hustle School podcast, a CrossFit trainer and her partner started a meal prep business by pre-selling meals before purchasing ingredients. $0 in startup capital. They leveraged their fitness community to sell macro-friendly weekly meal packages. Within 3 years, they'd scaled to nearly $1,000 in annual revenue. Now, you don't need to hit $1 million. At the side hustle level, operators report making $500 to $200 a month, preparing 50 to 100 meals per week after work, and on weekends, charging $8 to $15 per meal. The key is finding your niche: gym goers, busy professionals, seniors. The specific audience determines your menu, your pricing, and your marketing. Check your state's cottage food laws because many states now allow home-based food businesses with minimal licensing requirements. The food cost target is 23 to 27% of your price, which leaves healthy margins if you're disciplined about your menu and portions. And here's what nobody tells you about this business. The prep work happens on Sunday night. The deliveries happen on Monday evening. That's 2 days of your week, and then you're done until next Sunday. The rest of your evenings are free. Compare that to any other side business where you're hustling 5 nights a week. The concentrated schedule makes this one of the most time-efficient options on this entire list. Business 5, deck and fence restoration. This is different from general pressure washing. This is a specialized service that combines soft washing, wood brightening, and staining or sealing. The work is more skilled, the competition is thinner, and the prices are significantly higher. A standard deck restoration, wash plus stain, takes 4 to 6 hours and bills $500 to $200. Your material cost is $50 to $150. That's a $400 to $900 profit per job. Fence washing and sealing runs $200 to $500 per section. Part-time operators on our pressure washing report netting $500 to $1,500 per weekend from deck and fence work alone. The equipment setup costs $300 to $600. A pressure washer with a downstream chemical injector, wood restoration chemicals, and staining supplies. Unlike regular pressure washing, this niche has less competition because it requires knowledge of wood types, proper PSI settings to avoid damage, and staining techniques. Most pressure washers stick to driveways because they're scared of ruining a $10,000 deck. That fear is your competitive advantage. And here's where this list takes a turn. The businesses from here forward aren't just good. They have the potential to replace your income entirely if you decide to scale them. The numbers get bigger, the recurring revenue gets stickier. Pay attention. Business 4, home inspection services. The U.S. home inspection market is valued at approximately $5 billion, according to IBIS World. And here's what makes this perfect for after-work hours. Home inspections are often scheduled when the buyers are available. That means evenings. That means weekends. Exactly when you're free. Getting certified costs about $1,500 to $3,000 for training courses, depending on your state. After that, you charge $300 to $500 per inspection. One operator on Archer Home Inspectors described doing 3 to 5 inspections per weekend and earning $900 to $2,500 per weekend in side income. But the upsells are where this business really prints money. Radon testing adds $150 to $300 per visit. Mold testing adds $300 to $600. Sewer scope inspection adds $250 to $400. Stack those on top of a base inspection, and a single Saturday appointment generates $800 to $1,500. One operator reported earning $4,000 to $8,000 a month working part-time, with the potential to go full-time and earn $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Here's what nobody mentions about home inspections. Every real estate agent in your area needs a reliable inspector they can recommend to their buyers. That agent might close 20 to 30 deals a year. If you become their go-to recommendation, that's 20 to 30 inspections per year from a single relationship. Build 5 of those relationships and you have more work than you can handle. The work is intellectually stimulating, you're your own boss, and the barrier to entry keeps most casual competitors out. That certification requirement isn't a hurdle, it's a moat. Business 3, grocery and errand delivery for seniors. This isn't DoorDash, this isn't Instacart, this is a personal service business where you build real relationships with people who need your help. Independent operators charge a flat fee of $25 to $50 per trip or $30 per hour for errand services. Grocery shopping, pharmacy runs, post office trips, dry cleaning pickup. One operator on our side hustle specifically targeted seniors by partnering with local senior centers and churches for referrals. They built a roster of recurring weekly clients and reported steady income of $100 to $200 to $2,000 a month, working evenings and weekends. Here's the beautiful thing about this business. The American population is aging rapidly. By 2030, every single baby boomer will be over 65. That's 73 million people who increasingly need help with daily tasks. You're not competing with an app. You're competing with loneliness. And when you show up every Tuesday to take Mrs. Henderson to the pharmacy and the grocery store, you become more than a service provider. You become a part of her routine. That's the kind of client relationship no algorithm can replicate. And she tells her friends at church, and suddenly you have 10 clients. Business 2, Christmas and holiday light installation. This is a seasonal business that operates in a roughly 10-week window from October through January. And the money is absolutely absurd. Operators buy commercial-grade LED light spools, custom cut the lines to fit each home's roof line, and lease the equipment to the customer. They install, maintain any blown bulbs during the season, then take everything down in January and store it in labeled totes. Real operators on our sweaty startup report residential installations at $1,500 to $3,500 per house, calculated at $5 to $20 per linear foot of roofline. Commercial properties go for $2,000 to $10,000 or more. A small two-person crew working evenings and weekends reported grossing $80,000 to $200,000 in a single 10-week season with net profit margins of 50 to 60%. But here's the number that floored me. 80% retention rate. Year after year, the same customers rebook because you already have their custom-cut lights stored in your garage. You show up, install what you already own, and collect the same fee again. Let's do the math. 30 houses at $2,000 each is $60,000 in gross revenue. You already own the lights from last year, so your material cost is near zero. Your biggest expense is a ladder and an evening. That's a 10-week business that generates more than most people's annual salary. And now we get to number one, the business I almost didn't include because the margins seemed too good to be true. But after digging through real operator numbers, industry data, and actual Reddit posts with specific dollar amounts, I'm convinced this is the single best business you can start after work. Business one, mobile car key, programming, and lockout service. You've locked your keys in your car. It's 7 p.m. The dealership is closed. So at AA has a 2-hour wait. What do? You call a mobile automotive locksmith and you pay whatever they ask. One car key programming job pays $150 to $400, depending on the vehicle make and model. A simple car lockout, where you open the door in under 5 minutes, pays $75 to $150. A mobile automotive locksmith on Reddit reported that on busy evenings, they earn $800 to $1,200 in a single night. Here's the investment. A key programming tool costs $2,000 to $5,000. That sounds steep until you realize it pays for itself in 10 to 15 jobs. After that, it's almost pure profit. The demand is relentless. People lock themselves out of cars at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday just as often as at 2 p.m. on a Saturday. And because most locksmiths operate during business hours, the evening and weekend market is wide open. You're not competing with the daytime locksmiths. You're serving the customers they can't. One operator described doing 1 to 2 automotive lockout or key jobs after work and earning $200 to $500 per evening. The certification requirements vary by state, but in many places, you can get licensed in a matter of weeks. This is a business that turns emergencies into income, turns evenings into revenue, and turns a $3,000 investment into a skill that pays you for the rest of your life. Here's the uncomfortable truth about this entire list. Not one of these businesses is going to impress anyone at a dinner party. Nobody's going to lean forward and say, "Wow, you cleaned dryer vents?" or "Tell me more about your pool route." And that's the entire point. The businesses that sound boring are the ones with the least competition. The businesses that operate after hours are the ones nobody else is willing to do. And the businesses that require you to show up consistently are the ones that build real compounding wealth. Walker Chapman wrote in First to a Million that the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't closed by big, dramatic moves. It's closed by small, consistent actions repeated over time. That's exactly what every business on this list represents. A small, consistent action you take between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. that compounds into something your 9 to 5 could never build alone. Let me tell you about two people. Ryan started the same way everyone else does. He read articles about business. He watched videos about business. He thought about which business was perfect. 2 years later, he was still thinking, still watching, still waiting for the right moment. Then there's Mark. Mark picked dryer vent cleaning, not because it was exciting, but because the equipment was $500 and the math made sense. He cleaned 3 vents his first week, then 5, then he bought a second kit and hired a guy from Craigslist. 14 months later, Mark's side business was generating $6,000 a month. He didn't have the perfect plan. He had a $500 rotary brush and the willingness to knock on doors after work. The question isn't which of these 20 businesses is best. The question is, which one can you start with what you have right now, tonight, after dinner, before the rest of the world goes to sleep? Because the money isn't hiding in complicated strategies or expensive investments. It's hiding in the hours you're already giving away for free. Ask yourself this one filtering question before you close this video. What can I do between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. that somebody will pay me for? If you can answer that question honestly, you already have your business. The equipment can be bought, the skills can be learned, the clients can be found. The only thing that can't be manufactured is the decision to start, and that decision costs exactly $0. If this video gave you something to think about, hit that like button. It helps more than you know. Subscribe if you want more real business breakdowns without the hype. Tell me in the comments which of these 20 businesses surprised you the most. I'm John, and I'll see you in the next one.